Today we visit one of America's premier in-ground tree farms to take a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to take a plant from cutting to market. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned as we garden smart in Oregon. For 70 years, J. Frank Schmidt and Son Company has been growing new ideas. They're the originators of the well-known red sunset maple and introducer of more than 50 other patented or trademark cultivars. Their company is known as a premier source of up-to-date deciduous tree cultivars and new introductions. More than 500 varieties and cultivars of deciduous trees are carefully grown on their rich Willamette Valley soils in the heart of Oregon, the nursery state. Today we meet with Nancy Bewley to take us on a behind-the-scenes tour of what a day-to-day looks like in their life. What is the difference between when we see a named cultivar or just the genus and species? What's the difference there?
Well, the difference is predictable performance. Seedlings are great, but say you were in love with Tupelo and its beautiful red fall color. You go buy one at the garden center, and for the next 20 years you're disappointed that the fall color was yellow or so-and-so. And with a cultivar that's been selected for its fall color, like some of our Nissas or some of the red maples like October Glory or Red Point, you know that you're going to get that red fall color.
Right, and so with any seedling, there's going to be a degree of genetic variability. In some cases, that variability could be enormous. And this is a great example. You could have anything from a really nice, well-formed tree with good fall color to something that's rangy and not even attractive.
And just the trend in housing, the houses are getting bigger, the lots are getting smaller, and there's just not room for great big shade trees.
Okay, Nancy, we're going to follow our rooted red maple cutting all the way from the greenhouse to a mature tree. So we're looking at a tree here that is maybe, 2 years older than our rooted cutting, is that right?
About 2 years from the point where it was in the little container in the greenhouse. After it left the greenhouse, it was transplanted into a transplant bed where it was grown for a season and then fall planted here, so two falls ago.
Okay.
So it was planted out here and then grown for a whole year just as a shrub. And in that year, that's the year we develop roots. We call that the 0 year. So we're just growing roots because that's really as important as growing the tops.
Yeah, so after you've grown the roots, at this point, the tree likely looks a little bit like a shrub because it's just a rooted cutting. It might have had 2 or 3, branch breaks on it.
Yeah, it'll be about this tall in a year.
Okay, and so what do you do from there?
Well, after the leaves fall off, when we've got a whole field of shrubs, shrub maples, and in the wintertime, when we've got a dry spell, we'll come out and just mow the whole field down, just down to about so high. And then the next spring, they will make a precision cut and cut it just above a bud that's really close to the ground. And then we'll bring that tree up. In February, this was just a field of little stubs, trunks about this high. And then this is the growth. This is all this year's growth. So this is a 1-year tree.
Yeah, and so the idea there is that if we have a big root system that we've already developed, when you lop the top off, there's now an imbalance between the root system and the top. So what the plant's going to do is it's going to throw maybe 1, 2, or 3 buds. You're going to pick the strongest one, knowing that with this big root system you've already built, what you're going to get is a plant that's growing like a rocket.
Yeah, we're just putting all that energy, it goes into one bud and off it goes. Rocket is a good description.
So how do you keep that straight? Because of course the branch is going to naturally want to form more at an angle, but these are pretty much completely parallel.
Well, in the trade it's called a dog leg. So when that bud emerges, it wants to go out sideways and then up. Well, to prevent that, the Schmidts cleverly, about 40 years ago, invented the grow straight, and there happened to be one lying here in the field. So grow straight is just a little piece of metal, and we set that for that stubbed off bud. Here's a good illustration. we just put it in the ground right next to that bud, and then the bud comes up. It just follows this channel right up this and gets up to about a foot, and then they put a stake. They take that out, put a stake in. You can see here there's a metal, thin, slender metal stake here.
Right.
And so they set that stake there, and then, so we're done with the grow straight, and then they start taping. There's tape, tape, tape. And so what we're trying to do is just keep a very straight trunk. And so every couple weeks, the workers come through with their tape guns and clip that and make sure that it doesn't bend.